This is Football Primetime. I'm your host, Bill Dean. Of course, here are my two co-hosts, Brett and AJ. Brought to you by Primetime Radio, courtesy of Mr. Wu. I'm behind the glass. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Please leave a 5-star review if you'd be so kind. Thumbs up, whatever you can do to support the podcast. We really appreciate it. Shouts out on Facebook, and we're all over. So, send us questions, comments, concerns. If you hate AJ, or if you really want Brett to move to Jersey, just let us know, and we'll see what we can do to make things happen. Gentlemen, week 9's done. We are over halfway through the football season.
It's
sad. It is sad because football is so much fun. And, you think about all the, fantasy football obviously is one of the big things, betting and all that stuff. But you look at fantasy hockey and fantasy, all these other things, and they're daily, and it's sometimes, it can get a little bit too much, right? I mean, I love my Rangers, but I'm watching them right now. But, every once in a while you miss a game, you don't really feel like, I can't believe I missed that game. You miss a football game, and it's 2 weeks of not having and it's a rough thing, especially when you have to watch the garbage football that's going on tonight, which we'll get into a little bit. But it just, football Sunday is one of those things you come up on and you are always excited. It doesn't matter if if your team stinks, you just get to sit down, watch a little red zone, watch, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and then the final of the night games. And Sunday's just the best. It really is.
My big thing, though, is imagine if we rooted for college football teams that were actually good at football and having a football Saturday as well. My goodness.
I like it.
Well, that is true. And going off of that, I am about to be a little bit more interested in football Saturdays. Have you guys seen what McAfee's doing he's going to make college football red zone?
Oh, he is?
I did not see that. I like
I'm
that.
all for
Interesting. Now, you guys have a much better football program than I do. I mean, Purdue, when you think about it, you've had a lot. AJ's shaking his head, but you have had a long line of good players coming out of that school.
Fair.
I know it's Big Ten. It's right. It's a very competitive conference. You got Ohio State, you got Michigan, and it doesn't make it easy on you guys. I understand that, but I'm UMass. Like, talk about dog shit football, and that's what comes out of the whatever conference we're in now. 1AA something, and a couple guys. Right, we have Marshall Ship. We have. Well, Victor Cruz is probably our best one right now. You have the kid out of he went to, oh man, why am I blanking? He was on Arizona for a little while and he just got traded. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. But that's really bad football right there. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out.
Andy Isabella.
Andy Isabella's his name. Yep. Good players.
Terrible. Victor Cruz is definitely your best.
Oh, Tajay Sharp. I didn't realize Tajay. He actually, that's not the one. That's not the new. I'm thinking Tajay Spears. I was like, that could have been pretty good. Isaiah Rodgers, Larnell Coleman. I mean, it's real bad. Oof. I guess our best guy. I'm looking through some lists here. Vlad Ducos, that was a great Jet. It's not good.
I like how we normally, on this podcast, talk about the Jets, and that's when we lose viewers. Now we're talking about UMass football, and we've already lost viewers.
Yeah, we had a 7th round tackle come out, Larnell Coleman. He went to the Dolphins, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't play anymore. And that's UMass football talk
for the year.
Yeah. I don't even know what ranking they are this year. They stink. All right, so obviously, we're in week 10, and some fun stuff is this week. Actually, a bunch of teams on bye, and they're the big teams you think about: Philly and Miami, and obviously the big bad Kansas City Chiefs. What games? Well, we can get back to last week, but Vikings Jefferson, says he won't play until his hammy's 100%. Jamar Chase limited, but preparing to play. what's your biggest takeaways from last week? Games or storylines?
The Jets are frauds, except for the defense.
Yeah.
You're going to go with that. I mean, my biggest takeaway is the thing that's been plaguing one of the best teams in the NFL, the Dolphins. They can't beat a team with a winning record. Still haven't done it. They haven't beaten a team with a winning record in over a year.
It was funny that you sent us, was it on like Saturday or whatever, that they traveled on like Thursday or Wednesday, and then the Chiefs were traveling it was like a day or two after, and the whole trend this year has been the team that's gotten there earlier. Yeah. Just funny.
They are hot garbage, and I think that despite the Jets having this terrible quarterback, which I'll get into in a minute, they still can win this division because I think the other two teams are frauds. I think Miami's a fraud. They can't beat anybody with a winning record, and when they do play against good competition, they look susceptible. And Josh Allen's hurt. Their team is only Stephon Diggs and now a little bit of Dalton Kincaid. They don't give James Cook the ball, which is crazy to me because I think he's a really good running back. Their offensive line is mediocre. They allow pass rushes right up through the middle, which is their weakness. And their defense is soft. They don't play tough. You think of some of these guys, Poyer, and they're without Tre'Davious White. He's out for the season. They're a bunch of frauds. And I think which is crazy because the Jets just piss poor mismanagement of the quarterback position is going to be their downfall when they could clearly be the number one team in this division and possibly the AFC. That defense is that good.
Yeah, I can't. I don't have an argument against both those. I do think that I still think the Dolphins are the best team in that division. Barring the streakiness that they do have against good teams, it's like the Eagles last year. I feel like where they always had trouble, even with some of the bad teams. I feel like and people are always like, oh well, they kind of got lucky here and there, or they haven't looked great, but yet they were still made the Super Bowl. So I think the competition that they've played obviously are those that are contenders, in their losses. I just think that offense can still score right at any time, and it'll be interesting once the Dolphins do play the Jets to see how they actually match up against an elite defense like them, and then we'll see. I think how that division kind of can shake out if the Jets can still be in that mix. But I still think it's the Dolphins' division to lose.
Yeah, I'd agree. Just the issue with the Dolphins is, it's what we've harped on. It just, when you watch them play these good teams, the deep ball down the field just kind of disappears. And it almost feels like if they can't blow the top off a defense, and that's almost feels like their whole offense right now, which is crazy because they have guys that are so fast. And Waddle's not just a fast wide receiver. He's a great route runner. Tyreek Hill's a good route runner, but Waddle is legitimately a great route runner. So it's shocking that they can't find anything over the middle of the field when you have a guy like Tyreek Hill who can blow the top off. So it's interesting to see. I'm also with you on the Bills being frauds as well. For a team that is supposed to have this huge, high-powered offense, can you guess how many times this season they scored more than 20 points?
That would be twice, I think, right?
It's only 4.
Oh, it's 4.
They've been under 20 points the majority of their games. This is supposed to be one of the best offenses in the NFL. And it's not like they're doing it against like some of the worst teams. Like they didn't score more than 20 against Jacksonville. They didn't score more than 20 against the Giants. They didn't put up more than, or they did there. They didn't put up 20 against the Bengals last week. Like these are some okay defenses, but these are defenses that a team the caliber of the Bills is supposed to be taking care of. Those are supposed to be shootouts. It was a fun game with the Bengals last week, but everyone thought that game was going to be 30-33, not 18-24.
Yeah, it's funny. The 16 team parlay that Billy and I placed on Sunday, or 14, whatever it was. The two losses we had were this game, that Bills-Bengals game, because we thought the over would hit. And then also the stupid Patriots, once again.
I hate the New England Patriots.
Screw us over because we were
They're the
idiots
worst.
and picked them to beat Washington.
I'll never again do anything for the Patriots. They are the worst possible team of all time. I really hope they fire Bill Belichick in Germany after they lose this week, because there would be nothing better for that team to just tank hardcore and just be irrelevant for 10, 15 years. I would absolutely love that more than anything.
Well, I was going to bring up who you guys think are the guys on the hot seats. I mean, obviously Belichick's on the hot seat, but at least in my mind, I think he's going to make it through the year.
Yeah, I'd like to think that Belichick is not on the hot seat. I mean, the guy's won how many 6 Super Bowls for this team? Like, how do you make he deserves the right to go off on his own. It's just the Crafts are idiots, and they've ride this the gravy train for so long. Yeah, it's so dumb.
The trade rumor that Washington might want to trade for him, apparently.
For him, yeah. You get an asset.
I mean, that's
bad teams, right? So New England, I don't think it's a hot seat necessarily, but I do think the Jets, if they go really off the rails, especially with Saleh, could be on the hot seat. He absolutely could. I think that AFC North, everybody's 5-3 or above, so I don't really see a hot seat there unless someone completely blows it. Gasket, I could see maybe Stefanski, but I don't think the other three are pretty solid. Brett, AFC South, anybody you think is on a hot seat there? I don't think so anymore.
I mean, it's hard because usually when you're thinking of the hot seat, you're thinking of teams that had at least some expectations. And
Tennessee, Arthur Smith, unrightfully so, had expectations. They were supposed to be contenders, but I don't think they're fine for Vrabel.
No, absolutely not. I mean,
and Colts have a new coach; they're not firing him. And same thing with Houston.
Looking at the Titans are definitely going to be with Levis, and you can't fire a coach who's on a rookie quarterback. That's just not fair evaluation of all the moving pieces there. So I think in terms of AFC South, pretty much everyone's fine. I mean, the better question is look at the NFC South. I mean, like the Falcons and everyone.
We'll do that one next. So AFC West.
Okay.
Broncos, they fire Sean Payton in his first year?
Payton
I don't think so.
I think he's there, but it's more of the amount of money that's invested in Peyton and Wilson. Yeah. You have to ride it out and see if you can turn this around. And things are starting to look a little bit better for the Broncos. Not great. They just don't look – they're not the laughingstock of the NFL that they were last year. We'll put it
2-game win streak.
In terms of – but Staley is for sure on the hot seat.
I was going to say, we already know that the Raiders have already fired their coach, but Staley is absolutely – roasting in that chair,
especially if they lose this week. I mean, who do they got this week? Oh, they got the Lions this week.
Oof. They're in trouble.
Yeah,
I just don't get how that somebody with that kind of offense, right, is
and talent on defense, and he's a defensive coach.
Yeah,
like that's the worst part. He has Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack's not Khalil Mack, but he's still a very good player. But they have Joey Bosa, and I know he's always hurt, fine, whatever. They have good linebackers. They've had great safeties, they have great safety in Derwin James, and they have very good corners. Like, they're a very good team, and he just can't seem to get his defense to go and protect his quarterback. So this way, they don't have to score 50 billion points every year. And
well, I mean, the defense looked great last weekend.
Yeah, and if if they don't make it, he's getting fired. And if I'm them, I'm calling the Patriots, and I'm sending a first-round pick for one Bill Belichick to coach that team and that quarterback, because that would be fun.
The bright side for the Chargers is looking at their remaining schedule. They have at least 5 wins on there.
Yes.
They got the Lions this week. They toss up. I mean, it's whatever offense shows up and plays better. We'll see. Hopefully that's a good shootout. But then the week after that, Packers. That's a win. Then they get the Ravens. That's probably a loss. But then Patriots, that's a win. Broncos, that's a win. Raiders, that's a win. They probably stumble against the Bills. And then they get the Broncos again in week 17. So there's legitimately 5 wins left on their schedule.
Yeah.
They probably need to get 6, considering they're a 4-4 team. But
I think nine wins they'll get a playoff spot for one team. Yeah, for one team it will.
You think for the AFC?
I think, because AFC North, they're going to continually beat on each other, and I could see the winner being maybe 11-6. Like they're not, and I think the other teams are going to be right below them. AFC East, I think it's a little bit of the same. Jacksonville is a runaway, but I can't really see Houston making the playoffs. Maybe they do, and then really it's KC. So I think a 9-win team is going to make the playoffs out of the AFC. I absolutely do.
Well, have you guys seen that there's a chance that all 4 teams from the AFC North make it, and it's not like a complete shot in the dark. There's like a 6% chance according to odds.
They're all 5-3.
Crazy.
Yeah,
it's on the Bills is where this actually lands, which makes it weird. The Bills basically need to lose to like the Chiefs, the Eagles, like basically every good team that they have. The Bills need to end with 10 wins, and their wins need to come against the Chargers, and I think maybe the Texans. And then if every team in the AFC North ends with 10 wins, then all 4 teams in the AFC North are in the playoffs.
That'd be pretty funny. It'd be cool, actually. NFC. Philadelphia Eagles 8-1. Clearly, they're going to win the division here. Giants. Dable. Oh, Ron Rivera is definitely getting fired. So that's
with Washington.
Yeah. But Dable, second year, the way they've played.
I say, it's a toss up, right? Because he didn't get to draft his quarterback, right? He inherited Daniel Jones, and I don't think Jones actually was as terrible personally. I mean, it sucks too that he tore his ACL and all this stuff. But what I'm surprised is how that offense has just been terrible this whole year. That's something that you would expect, right, from Dable being the offensive guru, right, that he's supposed to be. This offense has been terrible.
They need weapons.
So and I mean, I think you give him at least 2 more years, right? They're going to draft their quarterback of the future this coming off season, right? So you give him that year, and then you give him 1 more year, I think.
I know that they've had
see any improvement, you go from there.
Yeah, I know they've had quarterback injuries, but play calling's been horrendous. He is an offensive coach, so that's one thing. 2, you can't tell me that he didn't have a say in giving Daniel Jones this contract. Like, he had to have given input and said, "Oh yeah, I think you could do something with him." And I know it's injuries, but it's 2 neck injuries. Daniel Jones is injury prone, but still, it's a horrible mismanagement of an asset. So I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to see what Giants fans think.
I would say you split it down the middle there, and GM's gone. He's fired. And you probably give Dable 1 more year.
See, I think people like Joe Shane, the GM. I don't know what happens there. But NFC North, Packers, I don't think they fire LaFleur. Minnesota, I mean, O'Connell might be up for Coach of the Year if he keeps doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Chicago Bears, I could definitely see Eberflus getting out, and then Marshall on Facebook Live saying the same thing. Bears firing the coach. 2 first-round picks. They're going to have a pick of the quarterback of the future. I could definitely see that being a firing as well.
I see it,
NFC South.
With the fact that they have 2 top picks, you could almost make the case for 1 more year for Eberflus just to see how he does in this draft, how he does with those picks. But yeah, if they start off bad next year, I mean, he's definitely gone.
I think if you don't believe in him, or if you think you're just going to give him 1 more year after you draft a quarterback, you just cut ties now. Because I'd rather, or as a franchise, right, I'd rather bring in the new coach or bring in the new GM, whatever you want to do, have them pick their guy, and then you ride it out that way, right? The Bears have done this 2 times in a row now, or 3 times in a row, where they've drafted a quarterback, right? 2 years down the line, coach gets fired, GM gets fired, whatever. The quarterback stays for another year or 2, and then they draft another quarterback again, and the cycle repeats. So I think you just got to break that cycle and change it up.
With that mentality, why not do it now? You're 2-7.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Like, you're not going anywhere.
You get your guy in.
Justin Fields isn't even playing because of his thumb.
Yeah.
Just if you're planning on doing it in the offseason, just do it now.
Yeah.
At least you'll bring in a
I
head coach. He'll get to evaluate players in game and
Yep.
take that information to the GM, and they can have a much better plan going into the draft.
I agree. I just think that if you're going to wait, right, don't wait. Just do it now. Don't give him an extra year.
Agreed.
You know.
All right, NFC South. Falcons.
Yes.
I absolutely think Arthur Smith's gone. Yeah, I don't agree with that. Him being there.
Did you guys see his interview from yesterday?
Yeah,
no,
it was bad. How he just talked for like
a good interview.
5 minutes of why Bijan wasn't getting the ball in the red zone. He just jabbered about nothing, pretty much. It was
a complete filibuster for 5 minutes, and all he has to say is, "I don't know." Like that would have been a better answer than what he gave, just saying, "I don't know."
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
I could see every single coach in this division getting fired.
I agree.
It is that bad. Tampa's definitely gone. Goodbye, Todd Bowles. He's been off for a while. Carolina Panthers just hire what's his name? Blanking on Carolina Panthers.
Frank Reich.
Frank Reich, thank you. They just hired him. They could easily fire him because he has not been looked good at all. And New Orleans, they're going to win this division maybe by default because they're not. But you can't tell me that you have any confidence in that organization, how it's run. He's basically had the same team that Sean Payton had, and he's continually brought it down the hill more and more.
Yeah.
Goodbye, all these 4 coaches. See you later, Toodles. NFC West. No one's going to get fired.
I say maybe the Cardinals. Maybe you get rid
one
of
and
Gannon,
done.
Right?
One and done.
If you think that he's not the right guy, and you're they're in the same position, right? They're going to draft.
They did the same thing with Steve Wilkes. Like, can you do that in 5 years? Fire 2 one-time 1-year coaches in 5-year run? I don't know.
Do you think they're going to draft a quarterback? I don't think they're drafting a quarterback.
I think they stick with Kyler. Murray? Yeah.
Why bring Kyler back at all this year if you're going to draft a quarterback?
Because then you have some chance of possibly dishing him out to a team that needs him.
Some team will take him. A team will take him. Absolutely.
You think the only reason why the Cardinals are going to have Murray play for the rest of the year is to just put tape out there to potentially trade him?
I mean, yeah, maybe. Yeah.
No.
I mean, I just don't think you move on from Dobbs in the way that they did if you're going to be moving on from Kyler Murray. Like, as soon as the news came back that Kyler was going to be activated from the IR, Dobbs was out the door 2 seconds later.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Gannon's the right guy there, and I mean, I'm not impressed with Kyler. He's had some great highlights. I'm not impressed with him either,
but I mean, the glaring issue for the Cardinals is defense.
There's so many good quarterbacks in this draft, though, too. Like, I just don't see why you don't go get a quarterback or something like that and build around.
I just always think that teams are too quickly to move on from quarterbacks that aren't necessarily great but are serviceable. I use the example of the Browns moving on from Baker Mayfield as like my prime example. Yes, he was not going to probably win them a Super Bowl, but going to the playoffs is still an achievement in the NFL. It's very hard to get to that top tier. And I think, yes, Kyler probably can't win a Super Bowl, but can he take them to the playoffs? Is he better than 60 to 70% of the quarterbacks in the league? Yes. And I just think it's too hard to find a guy in the draft when you have a guy that's already better than 60 to 70% of the league.
Yeah, I think he is probably top 12 quarterback when healthy. He's about that. Yeah, I'd take it. All right, this week's slate, and then we'll get out of here. Carolina at Chicago tonight. I mean, you can't. I'm not even watching the game. I know that's sacrilege to say as a football fan.
Bring up what I brought up to you guys earlier. For all the listeners out there, I'm in 7 fantasy leagues. So I'm going against 7 other teams. So we're talking 14 teams that I'm looking at. Not a single one of those teams has anyone playing in this game.
Yeah,
that's how bad these teams are. And the best teams in the NFL, so the best players in fantasy, are all on bye this week. And still nobody's playing anyone in this game.
Well, that's true. Yeah. DJ Moore, I have.
It's rough.
in actually I have 2 leagues, DJ Moore. Carolina, I don't think I have one player from Carolina.
I had to play Chubbard today, unfortunately, which is rough.
That'd be the only player I'd play. So.
DJ's not bad because I mean Bajan's got to throw to somebody. Well, actually, is it what's his name's not back, right? It's just,
oof.
Yeah.
Bag.
Yeah. Teabag. All right, Sunday, fun day, some good games. 9:30 a.m. in Frankfurt, Germany. The Indianapolis Colts, New England Patriots. I really hope Bill Belichick does not make the plane right back. That would be just fantastic.
That would be.
What are you guys looking at in terms of games for this, AJ? And then we'll go Brett.
I think I'm liking that 1:00 Bengals-Texans game. The way that CJ Stroud has played.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about him.
Another great, great performance by him.
Great. That was all time. 470 yards, 5 touchdowns. I mean, that might have been the best game I've ever seen a quarterback play.
I might have to change my my question now at the end.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just think it's a budding superstar, right? The way he had a week last week, and the Bengals, coming off a big victory against the Bills. I think that's gonna be hopefully a shootout. I'm hoping for. I think that's
is it too early? Is it too early to declare the Panthers as humongous losers in that draft? Too early?
I didn't want to say it earlier because I already said too many GMs should be fired, but that was a bad draft. It's such a bad draft.
Yeah.
I still think you have to give it 3 years at least. Give it another 2 just to see, and then go from there. But yes, it's not looking great.
It's so hard to say that when the team that's behind them in the draft takes the quarterback that they didn't want, and he's substantially better. Not marginally, like substantially better.
I'm not disagreeing, but I'm just I think you have to let those things play out a little bit.
Brett, your game?
I got a couple I'm looking at. One, the AFC North battle. We got Browns taking on the Ravens. It'd be interesting. Both defenses have been very good recently. Ravens offense has been heating up, so I do think the Ravens are going to kind of kill the Browns. Besides that, 49ers, Jags. 49ers coming off the bye, looking to get fully healthy again. Jags playing the best football they've played all year. Yeah. That is the one game I'm for sure watching start to finish. I want to see every minute of it. I want to see if the 49ers can get back to what they were doing, and I want to see if the Jags are legit contenders.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting seeing with obviously hopefully Purdy being healthy and Debo, being healthy, back. How that offense is.
Yeah, we talked about it. Detroit at LA, the Chargers needing the win. Detroit is, one of the top teams in the NFC. Minnesota and New Orleans is actually still a playoff matchup because both these teams are kind of looking to make it in there. So, those games can be somewhat interesting. Also, they had the Minnesota Miracle was New Orleans and Minnesota.
Yep.
Sunday night, Las Vegas, New York is, and Marshall said it, the worst 4 primetime games in 1 week. You have the Monday night Denver, Buffalo. You have the Sunday night New York and Raiders. You have the Sunday morning Indianapolis, New England, and then you obviously have today's hot garbage. It's bad.
Only one team with a winning record in those games.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say this: the Jets, if they come back with a loss, they are toast, and they need this more than anything. They, kind of had the luxury of losing to, and they played like hot garbage, to the Chargers last week, but they need this win. This is a must win if they want to keep their playoff hopes.
Yep.
And I expect to see Trevor Siemian in the next 2 weeks, I'd say.
Ooh. If Wilson plays like garbage, yes, I agree. If he has another bad performance like he did, I think you have to play him, yeah.
Saul's press conference on the Michael K show, or his talk on the Michael, that was bad. He looked real dumb.
Yeah.
and he basically came out and he all but said that he had one of the best backhanded comments of all time when they talked to him right after the game, and he goes, "This isn't even the worst game Zach Wilson's ever played." And it's like, holy crap! Like, you just rocked your own quarterback. Very funny, but Week 10 coming up, and it's going to be interesting. Giants at Dallas. I'm sorry, New York Giants fans, and Marshall on Facebook. You guys are in deep caca because Dallas D is going to be coming at them, and you have Tommy DeVito. I can't remember. Is what's his name back? Obviously. Well, by the way, Daniel Jones out for the season. Is Tyrod Taylor back? I don't even know.
I don't think so.
That's bad. DeVito. Tommy DeVito starting against Micah Parsons and that offensive line. That guy might have negative 50 passing yards with like negative 40 rushing from the amount of sacks he's going to take. This might be the best stat line a quarterback has ever had in a loss. So very interested to see that. You guys got anything else before we head out?
No. It's not the best week of football, right? But it's a week of football nonetheless. So
yeah. Carolina goes up 7-0 on the Bears. Who had the touchdown? Amir Smith-Marset, a 79-yard punt return touchdown. So special teams, the outright leader for this game. Bryce Young, 2 for 5 for 5 yards. T-Bag, 2 for 5, 22 yards. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch. So, wow. Adam Thielen, 2 receptions, 5 yards. This is going to be fantastic. All right. AJ, why don't you get a little trivia, which I think maybe I have an answer already to. But we'll see.
All right. Well, if you know it, don't.
I won't blow up for Brett.
But so going with CJ Stroud, obviously, having that historical game last week against the Buccaneers. Stroud became the first rookie in NFL history with 4+ touchdown passes, 500+ passing yards, and 0 interceptions in a single game.
500. Also, 470. He had over 500?
No, 400+. 0.
500.
So Stroud also became the youngest quarterback with at least 5 touchdown passes and 400 yards in a game. Which quarterback did he surpass in that accomplishment?
Yeah, I know this one. So Brett's going to have to go.
So it's a rookie year quarterback.
It doesn't have to be a rookie.
No, just
age.
Youngest. Okay. Just age.
Want to go Montana?
No.
More recent.
Yep. More recent. Rodgers.
Still playing now. No.
Yeah, he's
Billy.
He's the best quarterback in the game. Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, Mahomes. I just didn't want to go with the obvious answer.
No, I thought it was because 4 players are tied with I thought it was Mahomes, Peyton Manning, and Dan Marino. Were 400 yards, 5 touchdowns.
It's youngest player, so it's Matthew Stafford. So
Stafford's in that?
The youngest player to have 5 touchdown passes and 400 yards in a game.
Yeah, that makes sense. When he was with the Lions, they didn't know what defense was, so every game he played in was like 35 to 35. So
I thought my thing it said there are 4 players tied for the most games by a quarterback with most games by a quarterback 400 yards, 5 touchdown passes. That's what it is. 3 games for those guys. Yep. I got my stat confused. Very good.
Yeah, he's the youngest quarterback at 22 years and 33 days.
Yeah, I mean, kid's nasty.
Yep.
Good job, Carolina Panthers. You guys really know how to pick them. All right. Well, once again, week 9 in the books, week 10 coming up. Adios to everybody on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. We will see you guys next week. Go Jets. Go Packers. Screw you Steelers. This is Primetime football. Football Primetime. I want to throw in the insult, and then I screwed out the outro. So good job, Bill.